Right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Long Grass Podcast. We're back. We seem to be saying we're back far too often. This is not, I think, our official last. We're back. It's been a very weird year. Taken us a while to get going. I mean, it's April, so but it's Masters week and it's major season, and as a result, we thought we'd get back. And it's just the two of us. So I'm joined by Mr. Ross McClatchy. Roscoe, how are you doing?
All good, thanks to yourself, Steve.
Yeah, I can't complain. Can't complain. End of cricket season, which means I think we're entering into golf season, and we're going to talk about our respective games. I think at the moment are not quite where they need to be, so hopefully a bit of extra time away from the cricket field might be able to help that. But we're going to talk about golf towards the end of the podcast. But yeah, it's good to be back, and we've got a lot to get through because there's obviously been a lot happening over this past year. So over the next sort of 45 minutes, hopefully. We're going to be talking about the world of golf. We're going to be talking about new laws. We're talking about Gary Player, who, as always, is causing a bit of controversy. We're going to be talking a bit about Greg Norman and all the live players who will be playing at the Masters this week. We're going to be talking about the Sunshine Tour, a rookie win this weekend. We're going to be talking about Jakob Prinsloo sort of coming into the form of his life. We're talking about some of the upcoming tournaments coming up. We'll have a look at some of the live golf. Brooks Koepka coming good and winning it this week. Dean Burmester and his move. We talk about the PGA Tour. We had the match play recently. We've got the Masters obviously this week. Tiger has arrived as well. Also the Champions Dinner. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll wrap up with a little bit of an update on what's happening in our personal golf. Not that maybe any of you guys care, but we're gonna tell you anyway because why wouldn't you want to care about, how Ross and Steve are busy bushwhacking our way around South African golf. So let's
Yeah,
start.
hacking our way around.
Yeah, no, listen, it's not been pretty, especially for me, but it doesn't matter. We move. Let's start a little about some of the golf news. A couple of things we're going to catch up on, and we're going to start with probably the biggest controversy concept of the year, and that's this whole new ball rule potentially. And some details about it. I think it is proposed to start coming in from 2026, so it's another 3 years. And basically, they're going to be looking at bringing in or putting on conditions in terms of the way they make the balls so they don't go as far because people are hitting too far. I personally think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I think it's such a storm in the teacup. At the end of the day, people are not hitting further by accident. It's a lot going into it, and it's still, even though people are obviously hitting it longer than ever and stuff. I think that we're still seeing a lot of people, a lot of the big hitters. It's not like your long drive competition winners are just cleaning up in tournaments. I think there's still so much more to go for just being able to hit it long. So where are you standing with this? So are we keen to start seeing more traditional golf, hitting fairways, going direct, or do you like the long hitters in the way that they change to the game a little bit?
I don't agree with the golf ball rollback. I don't want to see the golf ball rollback. I because and it's as you said, there's still a lot that goes into golf. You can hit it as far as you like. I mean, Bryson was the perfect example of that, and still is the perfect example of that. He decided to bulk up and put on however many kilos he wanted to, and then hit the ball a country mile, which he did, and he hit it a lot longer than most guys on tour for a while. And I think he won two or three times while doing that, and hasn't won since. And I think it shows you that even though you can hit it a country mile, doesn't mean that you're going to win week in and week out. And so I think they should leave it where it is. If they wanted to do anything, I think maybe stop the development of golf balls where they are now, um, and don't let the golf balls get past where they are now instead of going back in time. I mean, you see, it's with any other sport. I mean, you see runners running quicker than they've ever run before. You see Erling Haaland, you see he's scoring more goals than anybody has before, and it all happens with time and athletes getting better and guys looking after their bodies better. And I think training in golf has become a big thing over the last couple of years, where guys are getting in shape to hit it a bit longer to give them a slight advantage. But to go now and roll back a golf ball is ridiculous. I mean, you don't see the athletes saying, "Okay, you can't wear shoes anymore because you're running too quick."
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, technology is always going to regress, and if where do you stop and where do you go? I mean, as I said, 60, the original wood was made out of wood, and things have changed, and we've now got driver technology, iron technology, and everything's changing. It's always going to change, and I think for me, it's as you said, technology is always going to make the game different, but I think the whole point is it's always supposed to enhance the game, and we want to see progression. At the end of the day, I don't think it's particularly entertaining if I mean, like records are there to be broken. we want to see people, playing courses better than ever before. We want to see people doing things that we didn't think was possible. So, I mean, when you see, especially that match play, that drivable par four, which is straight over water, when you start seeing people hitting a driver and landing on edge of green and stuff like that, like for me, that's exciting. That's a whole different, like, aspect to the game. And I think, as you said, like Surprise, not every single long hitter is suddenly just cleaning up. There's still so much more to it. Yes, the long hitters always have an advantage. I mean, Tiger Woods was, sort of redeveloping the game with how far he could hit it, and then Rory McIlroy, and there's always going to be sort of steps to the game. But yeah, I think it's just going to be very pernickety, and also I think, when you talk about growing the sport, I think that long drive competitions, you look at amateur golf, they love long hitting. How many amateur golfers are sitting there chipping and putting all the time? Yes, maybe they should be if they want to be good golfers, but they're also sitting there saying, well, I'm not going to become professional, but I can get a really big kick out of going and hammering a ball
Smashing it
a
past
long
my
way,
mates.
and who are we? Who are we to deny them that? So yeah, I don't know. I don't like it.
Exact.
I also don't like it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's what you said about that par four at the match play. I mean, I think the format adds to it, but seeing guys stand up there and try and smash drivers onto that green makes it so much more exciting with the risk reward shot. Whereas if you now implement this golf ball rollback, where the ball's going to fly 30 or 40 yards shorter than it's currently going, every player is going to stand up there, pull an iron out, and hit it into the middle of the fairway, and then hit a second shot. And it makes that hole then a nothing shot. It's who can hit the better approach shot. Whereas where it's currently at, one guy stands up, hits driver, and puts it on the green, and now you're kind of forcing the hand of the other guy. Like, you got two chances here. You're either gonna have to drive the green, or you've got to lay up and then hit it to stone dead and hope the guy misses an eagle putt. So I think I don't like the golf or rollback, and I read another thing. So with the rollback, it's only going to be implemented on professionals.
Mm.
So amateurs can go and play with the rolled back golf balls, but they don't have to. And it's another one of those things where, like, growing up, you want to play with the same things that your idols are playing with. I mean, Tiger Woods, you want to wear Nike clothes, you want to use a tailor-made driver, or like Jordan Speed, for example. You want to play with Titleist equipment. You want to play with what they're playing with to feel as close to them as you possibly can. Whereas now, when they're playing with a different golf ball and you playing with something else, it sort of loses that as well.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point actually. Especially, yeah, as you say, the fact that you want to be able to emulate your idols and stuff. And also, you want to be able to compare. If you want to sit there hitting a ball, sort of, I don't know, 340, 350, you want to be able to know that you're hitting that ball, 350, and in the same conditions that a Bryson's hitting it, and you can sit there saying, well, I can compare, and you want to sort of, yes, it's never be level playing fields if you can't afford the stuff like that, but you gotta have the aspirations. And imagine being in a situation where, as an amateur golfer, you start practicing, you get yourself to be, play really good. You then sort of think, oh, cool, I'm gonna pro, and then you sort of your game goes back a step because all of a sudden you're now, being forced to play with different equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's full steam ahead with technology. We can put in. For me, there are other ways of doing it. Like when they start putting in caps on shaft length, for example, and maybe sort of and weight and flexibility and stuff like that. I also keep saying when people keep saying, oh well, they're taking fairways and go and stuff out. There are other ways to defend a course. You don't just have to extend a course. Let's make the rough even rougher. Let's make it so that if you aren't driving a green, or if you're not managing to catch the end of the fairway and you're rolling off and you're missing fairway and stuff like that, that you are making it more difficult. I think, and there can be prerogative, of course, to do that. If you need to defend your course, defend your course. But to go and change all these rules
Yeah,
to stop a pretty select few, because let's be honest, it's not. As I said, if you look at the top players in the world, yeah, they all hit pretty long, but they're not all these massive long drivers. They the idea of touch and stuff around the green is still very important. So I think we're in agreement. No need for the balls.
yeah,
Carry on with, yeah, maybe stop technology, but let's just go full steam ahead. Drive some greens. Watch. It's fun. As I said, for me it's fun, and it adds to the product, especially to an everyday person. You can kind of gauge yourself when you think of,
yeah,
you've never driven a green. Like, that's why the professionals are so good. Whereas I can also get a 4 iron and put it in the middle of the fairway and potentially put it on for two. but I can't drive that green. That's why they're better than
Well,
me.
that's the that's debatable for you, Steve.
Hey, I said I can. I didn't say I would. I said I can. Occasionally, I can. Always can. But
No, you're just speaking very confidently about the middle of the fairway. There's yeah.
hey, it could have been 20, 30 yards. I didn't say down like further down the fairway. At the moment, but sometimes a duff can go straight. It doesn't necessarily go far, but it can go straight, and then you're still in play. There's no need to be rude. Okay, put it this way: at the moment, I'm not driving. I'm not taking my driver out, so long drives not an issue for me.
That
But
makes two of us. Don't worry.
fair enough. Right, should we talk about Gary Player, who
Yeah,
loves to be the centre of attention, seems to always manage it some way or another, and in Masters Week has decided to take things up a notch. I'm not even sure where to begin with him, to be honest, because he said a lot. He's
I
said a
don't know
lot.
why he always comes into speculation and causes trouble when the Masters are out.
Yeah, it's
There's
like,
always something to do with Gary Player and the Masters.
I mean, whether it's golf ball controversies with the sun or thing, but I mean, he said a lot of things. Now, this for me is the biggest thing. He's come out. He's absolutely slammed Augusta, basically because
Yeah.
he couldn't get around there. You know, man made the phone call, said, "What's your tee sheet looking like?" And they said it's full. Sorry, and he said, "I'm a previous major winner," and they said, "Unlux." But the official quote here says, after
So
all I've contributed to the tournament and been an ambassador for them, I can't go ahead and have a practice round there with my 3 grandchildren without having to beg a member to play with us, he said. And there's always some excuse. It's terribly, terribly sad. I helped make this tournament what it is. Um, so he's not happy. Man's not happy. He just wants to go play a bit of golf with his grandkids, and apparently needs to have a member playing there. That's what a couple of other things he said. Do you have the quote for what he's also said today about his legacy and everything? So at the moment, yeah,
I
he's very bleak at the Masters, but I think I don't know if he's trying to justify why his opinion is important, but do you have this perler that we've got from today?
yeah, so I saw this pillow this morning, and Gary Player has come out and said, "There is no golfer who's ever had a tougher life than I have. I've won more tournaments than any man alive. I've won more national opens than Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Arnold Palmer put together. I've done remarkable things."
Remarkable man.
And now
What a man.
I think that's a pretty bold statement to make.
To come out and say that no golfer,
Because I
no golfer has had to endure what I've had to endure growing up, and no, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you read a couple of the stories of like some of the play. I mean, Matthew Southgate's the first one who pops into my head. He survived testicular cancer, came back out and won again on the European tour, the deep water. And uh, as far as I know, Gary Player hasn't had to fight and survive cancer yet.
no,
Touch wood, he doesn't.
look at Tony Finau,
But
who learned golf by smacking balls into a net in his garage, and those sort of people
in his
sometimes
garage, so I think,
it's a big
and then you
chat.
get who I can't remember whose wife was beating him after. Whose wife was it? Someone on tour. He missed 2 cuts in a row, and he came back home, and his wife took a baseball bat to him and beat him up with a baseball bat because he wasn't making money.
It's probably a little bit of an
And I
overreaction.
mean,
Not
that's
not
pretty hard.
yeah, but I'm sure Gary's been through plenty of other difficulties. But so Gary, you
And
know
it's
what?
also
At
like,
the end of the day,
I
as always, we admire just the sheer lack of shits given, and I think as anyone who just genuinely does speak their mind, it is Gary Player. Whether that's
yeah,
a good
one
thing, I think
hundred
we've probably
percent.
established it isn't. Um, the question is he still relevant these days?
But I don't think so. But I think he's trying to make himself relevant.
So the bigger question is he often hits the first tee shot. Him and Jack Nicklaus and all, and they kind of roll them out. And at the beginning, do you think he's gonna get that invite to the Masters this week? Is he gonna be sitting there going, "Well, fuck! It's the only way I get to tee off in the Masters. I get to be there on the first day. I get to hit one bloody shot, and then I get put back in storage for another year."
It's quite interesting because after those comments, I'm not sure if I, as like a director at Augusta or the Masters, I'm not sure if I'd want him back. But I think if you don't bring him back, you then bring about a whole nother shitstorm, and you just open a can of worms that I think Gary Player won't shut up about.
I mean, could you imagine? You're sitting there going, "Oh shit, okay, guys, it's the first Masters since Live. Like, it's gonna be tense. You've got players coming back. It's gonna be very hectic. Like, you've got a lot to work with." And the Gary Player's like, "Right, boys, guess what? It's not just the Live boys you have to worry about, lads. Get ready because I'm bringing a whole nother shitstorm to this bitch."
Uh,
It's just why.
and you know what? Along with that and like with that comment, like the part about he's had the hardest live ever. What it meant, like I'm not taking anything away from the ASL Open. It's an incredible tournament. It's one of the longest standing tournaments in the history of golf, and I love it. However, if you're comparing national opens between the SA Open and the US Open, I think the US Open might be slightly more difficult to win. In which case it may be understandable that Tiger hasn't won 13 US
And,
Opens or however many SA Opens Gary Player's won.
and how sure is he that he's won the most? I mean, how sure is it the guy that's not winning, the Guinea Open every year hasn't done so for the last 30 years? I mean, is he entirely
Yeah,
sure? Does he know that the guy that's winning, someone like
like Trinidad and
Tobago,
Tobago Open.
Tobago's
No,
yearly Open that the guy has been cleaning up there for 40 years, and he's just there going, "Excuse me, Gary, do you mind? I've been operating out here." So yeah, no, it's yeah,
yeah, just
just
sit
stop,
down.
stop, stop it.
Oh,
But yeah,
but
anyway.
hate him or love him, there's always some sort of story around Gary Player.
Oh, correct. No, correct. And I suppose we. The problem is that we need him. Is we kind of need to lean on his achievements. We appreciate you for being the best golfer, um, the South Africa's produced. We appreciate all the success. Now, can you just please keep quiet, so that we can kind of just celebrate your success, not have to
Yeah,
be attached to the controversy all the time. Speaking of controversy, and you said saying the live
literally.
golfers are back, and apparently Greg Norman says that they're one big happy family, and that they're all going to be celebrating the 18th if any of them win the Masters. And trying to decide I want to talk about this now. We should talk about the Masters. Let's talk about this now, and let's talk about the Masters, and
Cool.
stuff. And in fact, let's go to Live Golf. Let's talk about Live Golf, and then we'll come into the Masters with the PGA Tour because. Yeah, Live Golf. We wrapped up yesterday. They were in Orlando. Brooks kept coming good, and getting a dub, which I think was quite important for him. If you guys watched Full Swing, you talked about how miserable he was that he wasn't winning, and not backing himself, and not sure if he was going to be able to win again. Um, did come good. Did come away with the win. Was quite close actually. There was a bit of drama. There had a couple of chip-ins and stuff like that. But I mean, he's someone who 2-3 years ago would have been walking into a Masters field looking to win it, and in the last 2 years, but sort of kind of dropped off. Does this give us reason to believe he could actually do something this weekend at Augusta?
It's quite interesting because it's exactly as you said. He went on a run for like 2 years where he was just about impossible to beat. He was doing something similar to what Scotty did last year,
Mm.
except he did it for 2 years. And then he came into injuries, and lost a bit of confidence. And now I read after his win yesterday in Orlando that he's feeling healthy and he's back up to full strength, and there's no injuries or niggles around him, and he's now won again. So I wouldn't write him off for this week. I don't think he'll win, but I definitely think he'll throw his name in the mix for a couple of rounds.
Yeah, I think he is one of those players who I think he kind of like likes to ride momentum. He's quite a emotional person. So I think when he's playing well and things are going well, he kind of it's a bit like Rory. Rory's playing his best golf when it's tough, when it's competitive, where he has to play his best golf, and there's no other option.
Yeah,
So I think he is quite a fierce competitor. So yeah, it'll be quite cool to see him getting a bit of a chance, seeing the old sort of Brooks. But a bit close to home, Dean Burmester made the move to live. Playing quite well as well. But we were quite split on whether it was a good decision or not. I think obviously from a family point of view, I think that having seen him last year at the end of the year, I think having been around there, chatting to him, seeing where he's at and stuff like that, I think seeing the frustration at Alfred Dunhill, especially when he was playing good golf and things weren't going for him, it's I think quite clearly a family and a personal decision financially, to jump through to live, get the money and stuff like that. But I think a lot of us are a little bit upset because I think we thought that he could have actually really done things on the PGA, which he's now not given himself the chance to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I mean, especially after like we watched him quite a bit last year, both here and over there, with him being on Corn Ferry and fighting so hard and finding that his game where he was good enough to then go and earn himself his PGA Tour card, to then jump so quickly across to live. And I mean, he started the year in the PGA Tour, and I think in his first like 4 or 5 events, he made I think all of the cuts, maybe missed one, had a top 10 finish and was playing really good golf and making some decent money. And I wanted to see him have a good go on the PGA Tour because I think he could have done a lot of good things and climbed up that world ranking quite quickly. So to see him jump across to live, I was quite shocked as well.
I think the frustrating thing, I suppose, is that especially with the casual golf fan, is you watch the four majors. That's your major. That's the one you want to watch. And then as a South African casual fan, you want to see a South African contender for the majors. And I think that he was the next potentially. I think all of a
Mm.
sudden he was becoming the next biggest thing. I think a year ago we were talking about Bezuidenhout and him because I was also in the PGA Tour already and stuff, and was playing good golf. But I think that all of a sudden that last year we saw Dean Burmester go and put himself in the hat and say, "Listen, this guy can play." And now the fact until Liv do get world ranking points, he will not qualify for majors at the moment. He will not play majors, and that's frustrating from a South African perspective because we want to give ourselves the best chance, and if we're not, if our better new sort of, I wouldn't say new generation golf because he's not that young, but he was kind of the next big, sort of one of the next big golfers to come through, and now we've got to rely on all the guys who've either won majors in the past or who are on the PGA Tour slugging it out and getting invites. Obviously, the SA Open stuff, it gets a bit easy to get into the Open. And we're seeing Aldrich, for example, this weekend playing the Masters, so back the youngster. But yeah, I think that for me was probably the frustration. Not so much sort of I would like to have seen him try and qualify to play in some majors and stuff. But I suppose you never know if Liv do get it right. They are trying to do whatever they need to do to try and get official ranking points and stuff like that. Um, but it was a bit sad the fact that as you said, to have worked so hard and then to jump ship that quickly. It would have been cool to have seen a season and see where he could have gotten himself to, seen what have you done, and if it didn't go well, if it all kind of fell apart, to then go and say, okay, I'm out. You kind of almost got fair enough, but yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. But to be fair, I think they're having an absolute jaw. I think that him, Charles, Louis, and Brandon are just having a party on Liv at the moment. It does look a lot
Living
of
the
fun.
dream. Yeah, I think the four of them traveling together,
Mm.
all from South Africa. I think there's a lot of brandy,
Yeah, it's definitely a
because
couple of
it's
drinks early.
definitely not affecting the wallet. That's for sure. But speaking on your point about like watching the South Africans in the majors and that, because it is we've obviously all got our favorites, but we all want to sit back and watch a South African charge up the leaderboard, no matter who it is.
Mm.
And I'm just having a look here now. So besides for past winners, so Charles will be there this week, Louis will be there this week,
Hang on,
but
sorry,
other
sorry,
than that,
sorry.
they'll be and Aldrich Porky,
We lost you
amateur,
there.
who's been light amateur circuit. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. So we had Louis and Charles. Who else have we got?
So we got Louis and Charles, we got Aldrich Porky the junior that's been ripping it up on the amateur circuit, and that is it.
That's it. We got three. We got three lads in the Masters. It's Australia,
We
isn't it?
only have two South African golfers in the top 100, three golfers in the top 100 of the world at the moment, and it's Christian, Burmester, and Tristan Lawrence. And Burmese down in 79th.
And he wasn't far away from the
Bez
top
is
50 at
down
one
in,
stage.
yeah, he was right up there, especially after a good summer swing down in South Africa in December. And then Tristan Lawrence, who's been slightly off color the last couple of months, he's down in 86th, so he won't be making any major starts as of yet. Oh, although, does he get into the Open with his ASA Open win?
Yeah, I think he
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
for this week,
yeah. So I don't think we'll see too many in the Masters. I don't think we'll see too many in the PGA. I think Aldrich might be in the US or the PGA. I think he's in one of them. And
I
I think
think yeah, I think it's the US.
that's what I thought. That was my gut as well. But I think we'll see more when it comes to the Opens. I think obviously with the DP World co-save stuff like that, we've got a couple more opportunities to try and get in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, so let's talk about the Masters, shall we? Because yeah, it's Masters week. It's the most exciting week in the golf calendar, except for the fact that we are in a Ryder Cup year. But apart,
Tiger's back, baby.
yeah, so Tiger's back for his 2 day outing. Before he goes back into his training camp. Um, we'll talk about Tiger and then we'll go. And I want to go through some odds. And our odds are brought to you by BetCoza, by the way. Here, as you can see, our official betting partner. I'm going to talk about some of the odds and who's being backed to do the business weekend. Let's talk about Tiger. I still believe that right now he's never going to compete until he's playing not every single event, but he needs to be playing a couple of events here and there consistently before he's going to be able to compete with Masters. There's no way that he can rock up now, come on absolutely cold, and compete. And take away your
I
Tigers bias,
disagree.
and you Ross, he's not gonna do it.
Look at the shirt.
He's not gonna do it.
He is gonna do it.
He's not going to do
He
it.
is. This is the one golf course that I think Tiger Woods can come back and win on.
But he can't. Assuming he can walk around it.
He can walk around it, and he showed. You know what I think the biggest thing is? He played Riv what a month or so ago now. It's a tough walk up and down those hills. It was cold, and he managed to play all 4 days of golf. And he played some. He had a couple. I think he had 2 dodgy days and had 2 really good days. And I think with a little bit of extra TLC over the last couple of weeks, Tiger Woods can win the Masters.
You know what, Ross? My dream for you is that you will find a wife that is as loyal to you as you are to Tiger. I love the backing. I love the support. I think it's very misplaced, but I appreciate the graft. I appreciate it. Look, as I said, we said last year at the same time. We did say if there's one person that could do it, it is Tiger. I'm not convinced. I think maybe he might make the cut, but I'm not convinced he's going to be in the mix. Should we see what the odds are for him to be in
Well,
a round?
when my bet lands on Sunday and Tiger wins the Masters, you don't have a spot on the plane to Mauritius.
So to put it in perspective, he's been given better odds than Tommy Fleetwood, but worse odds than Sung Jae Im.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at some of the odds,
I think that's fair.
in fact, I could probably actually bring up the odds. I'm actually gonna try and let's see if I can do that. Shall I? Shall we try and be a bit innovative with technology and try and show you guys exactly what the odds are for this weekend? Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna be able to bring that up. And as you said, when your bet lands, so I'm assuming that there is a bit of money that you're looking to put down this weekend. Who have you got?
Yep. So I've currently got Wolves Zalatoris. I've got Minwoo Lee as an outsider. I've got John Rahm. Wolves Zalatoris, Minwoo Lee, John Rahm, and Tiger, of course.
Right. I like the Minwoo Lee shot. I'm a big fan of his. I think he hits the golf ball incredibly well. I think he is going to be one of the next big things. So I can appreciate that shot, to be fair. But let's. I'm just trying to bring it up here properly. And this is the US Open, so we don't want to look at that. This is what we want to look at. We're at the Masters here, right? And now let's. There we go. There we go.
I agree. I agree. And as good as Scotty is, and you can't take anything away from him, I really don't want to see him win it again. Like I want to see a Jordan Spieth win it again, or someone old. I want to see like Sandy Lyle do it. But I think, yeah, I think, and I think that world number one spot is a massive talking point at the moment because if you look so far this year, if you look at John Rahm, Rory McIlroy, and Scotty Scheffler, I don't know how you differentiate between the three of them and decide who is the best golfer in the world at the moment because Rahm's won three times this year already. I think he won like four times in seven starts over the last 8 months or so. Scotty Scheffler's back to winning ways. Rory's back to winning ways, and they're all putting on stellar performances week in, week out, every week they play. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And do you think Rory can get the Masters monkey off his back this week? Like a Minwoo, yeah, or a Cam Smith. Yeah. No, I don't like DJ. Spieth, I'd like to. Nah, I'll stop. I'll give up golf. I'll sell my golf clubs on Sunday night. Cancel it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Spieth back up there. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for coming. What are his odds? Oh yeah, Junior Invitational at Sage Valley by 12 shots. So he what? I know, and it's ridiculous. I mean, he won it on 13 under par, and second place was one under par. I mean, those are worlds apart. 13 under par compared to one under par. It's like it's playing two different golf courses.
No, I mean you don't exactly walk out coming as a runner up and going, you know what, I was in the fight. A couple of putts just didn't really drop, but maybe next time. No, you were like, no, it's like I was nowhere. I would have had to have played my best golf for another 2 days to try and catch up, and even then you probably wouldn't have. So yeah,
Yeah.
so watch out for Aldrich. Our boys coming. Yeah, sort of went to Australia. It was Australia, and now he's back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good to see. He is representing South Africa, so go and back him. But
Another quick thing I want to jump onto while we're speaking about amateur golfers. Did you see what Daniel Bennett did the other day?
negative. What am I missing here?
So we had the SA under 19 SA boys, I think it was, at Peakenwood, and Daniel Bennett won it. Golf Digest actually spoke about it. I think he won by 31. He shot 34 under. The next closest was second place was 13 under par. 4 days of golf.
Does has somebody audited that round? Like, do we have footage to 31 under?
34 under.
34 under. Was he playing a
He
mashie
broke
course?
the record. He beat Cam Smith's record. You would think so. He won by 21
This is
shots.
this is this is why the DP World Tour hasn't been back to Peakingwood so far this season. Because people are going to go and shoot 50 under over 4 days.
I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, let's see if I can bring it up quickly. But I was following the scoring the other day, and here we go.
No, man, 34 under is just starts getting a little bit stupid though. Like, what are you supposed to do? Imagine being the greenkeeper and you sit there thinking, I think I prepared quite a tough course this weekend. Well, apparently not.
Yeah, Daniel Bennett shattered 3 golfing records as he marched to a 21-stroke victory in the 2023 Nomads SA Boys Under 19 Stroke Play. He marched to a wire-to-wire 21-stroke victory at Peakenwood. 36 years since Mark McNulty won the Royal Swazi Sun Classic with a 72-hole tournament record of 29 under par. Bennett penned his name in the history books as the new record holder with a 34 under 154 victory.
Yeah, a little bit childish, isn't it? Well, there we go. Big name to follow, apparently. So we'll make sure to follow on him. But let's go to the Sunshine Tour, shall we? We had a rookie 21-year-old winning the on the tour yesterday. Was it what did it say? Monday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, he said it's just a 26 start. Ryan van Zelden, 21-year-old rookie. I think just because of that, he's just come into the world ranking.
Some
In the
good
top
youngsters
1,000.
in South Africa.
Yeah, the future of golf does seem to be bright, which is quite exciting. But yeah, Sunshine Tour. We had the 2 co-sanctioned at Steyn and down at St. Francis and stuff like that. So it was cool to see those sort of returning. But a lot of movement on the Order of Merit. And we're talking about Jaco Prinsloo, who's been playing some pretty sensational golf. And as I think he's now brought in, I think he's down to second, up to second. I think he's overtaken Thurston Lawrence, and now I think behind Orky Strader.
Yeah.
Maybe you're saying.
Yeah, sitting only behind Orky Stratum, yeah.
So yeah, here's the Order Merit chat. So it goes Orky Stratum, who's
Yeah, so we've got Orky Stratum on.
That's a 6.8 million rand. They're not doing too badly this season as Orky.
Yeah, he's done himself quite nicely with a co-sanctioned win, and then he's winning. Where did he win the other day? Oh, in Malaysia or Singapore.
Yeah, so if you look at the points, it's a whole points in the Lunar Order Merit. You've got Orky Strader in first place with 3,310 points. Then Jaco Prinsloo with 2,294 points. Tristan Lawrence with 2,278. Oliver Becker in fourth. He's started to come back and played some. He's only played 8 tournaments, so I mean, fair enough to him. Same as Tristan Lawrence, who's only played 5. Dylan Mostert, who's turning things around this season. JJ Senecal, Henry Duplessis, Clement Sordet, Louis Diaga, and in 10th place, Xander Lombard. He's also not played too many tournaments. But yeah, is pitched up quite nicely when he's needed to. But yeah, I think we were talking about upcoming tournaments when it comes to Sunshine Tour. We're sort of moving into the last stage of the season. We've got the Stella Tour players coming up at Danesburn, the Tour Championship at Serengeti. When's Stella Tour? That must be in the next couple of weeks.
Not next week. Not this week. Next week.
Right, so I think we're gonna have to go out and go have a look.
Yeah, next weekend.
Yeah, well, there we go. We're gonna have to go and watch it because obviously we can access it. So yeah, we'll go and check out and see what's happening over there at Dayton, and then that Serengeti one's always quite a cool one. Um, to sort of finish the season, but yeah,
Yeah.
big for as we were saying now. What's the important part of the season is that we've got players trying to get their cards. Q School, starting today. Do we know anybody? Do you know anybody playing Q School and stuff like that? Is your cousin playing Q School, or is he?
Um, no, Carl's still on tour, and will probably keep his card for next season. I do know a few people playing Q School. I know Chris Long, good friends with him. Let's have a look here. Chris Long, he shot, there we go, shot one under, lying 28 today. Who else is in here that we know?
I'm trying to see if there are any big names there that lost their cards and stuff that are back in and trying to get those back. But I'm
Yeah.
not seeing too many names that I recognize.
I know Cam Moralee's back at Q School, trying to regain his card. So crossing fingers for that. I can't see him on the leaderboard here. I don't know, but I know he's back. So yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on Q School over the next couple of weeks. I know this is only first stage, and they've got a couple of their stages, and it's between State Mines and Heron Banks again this year. So it will be quite interesting to see who gets their cards, and then when the season begins again, to see how they all perform, because it was quite interesting with our winner of Q School last year not doing much on the Sunshine Tour this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think, and yeah, and as I said, it's always very interesting. I think he was actually got back as well. A year ago, we looked at Q School and stuff, and we looked at a couple of names that we were looking for to see what they did. So it'd be quite cool to go back and actually see who we spoke about and how they did fare this season. Well, I think that's sort of wrapping up. Let's talk a little bit about our own golf. I played days of golf in a row and basically just donated about 100 balls to the low felt. Yeah, Kruger Park Lodge, Salvi, River Sun, Kukuza, and White River weren't taking any prisoners. It was tough out there. Tough out there. Must say, Kukuza is looking very, very good. The greens, I think, obviously were a bit damaged from all the rain, so I think we can let that slide. They have had floods and stuff over there, but they've reached. I mean, the entire clubhouse has been redone. They've got this massive deck overlooking it. It's been rebranded. The reception area you walk in. They've got new carts that are geolocated. I must admit, it was a world class experience. And the golf course itself, fair was looking alright, looking a lot better when I was there. The greens, as I said, took a bit of a hammering, but quite cool to see the wildest course in the world actually now starting to really become a proper, you know, golf course worth playing. Still, obviously 9 holes, 18 tees, but it was a cool experience. We won't talk about what we shot because some people can't count that high and don't want to be thinking and trying to contemplate that. But yeah, it was really cool to get out the low field and play some good golf. Roscoe, how much golf have you been playing recently? We haven't played in a while. In fact, I think we must play sometime soon.
Yeah, we must. We'll organize. I was actually speaking to Cam yesterday. We'll organize for today 2 weeks. We'll play. Maybe we can do a second installment
Oh
of
yeah.
our Dane Fern off the tips after the
Ugh,
players.
I have to get a driver. Yeah, it didn't go well last time, to be fair, but it would be cool though to do it
But
again.
yeah, I haven't been playing. Yeah, so I haven't been playing too much golf recently. I've played 3 or 4 times in the last like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and my game is in shambles. I can't keep a driver on the planet, and everything else is pretty shaky at the moment. I haven't broken 80. I think I've broken 80 twice this year.
Is the,
Um,
is the handicap starting to move
so
up?
in a rough patch. But as you said, we can move away from the cricket field now. Yeah, handicaps moved up. I think I'm playing 4 now. So
Jeepers,
getting away
it's
from that one.
not gone well, eh?
No, the game really is in shambles. So quite looking forward to taking a step off a cricket pitch for a little while and going to hit golf balls on the range and trying to figure out how to play this stupid sport
Yeah,
again.
because also you need to sort yourself out because if you think you could try and gain 4 shots when we play against each other, it's not happening. You can't start pushing up your handicap. You know. So backstory. I put him in his place last year in Bombela, and all of a sudden now you're playing off 4. So now we're trying to find these extra shots. How about you just be better at golf than to just try and jam me the handicap to make yourself a bit more competitive, Ross? This is cheating.
I reckon I'm going to try jamming the handicap and then get better at golf just so that I can get revenge for Mbumbela in December.
Listen, there's a lot of targets on my back, and get in line really for people that want to. Obviously, I'm coming on to put on Matt Barrows, so he couldn't join us today, unfortunately, but we do still have a standing bet that if I beat him uh, on strokes, that he's going to give me this very nice set of tailor-made clubs. Hey, we're gonna make look. To be fair, I thought we were making progress until the last week in the golf I played, but yeah, hopefully, a couple of
Was
lessons, some adjustments to the clubs, maybe a new driver in the bag soon. I feel like Roy McIlroy, always like those little small tweaks if it's actually gonna make any difference. But hopefully somewhere along the day something will click and we'll start playing a bit better.
oh, but yeah, we'll definitely organize a game, and then maybe that in 2 weeks' time I'll put you in your place. I've got to get that handicap. I need to play one or two more rounds just before then, playing off a 6, and then I reckon I can take you.
No, listen, I'm gonna play a couple of rounds there, and by the time we play, I'll probably be playing off about a 20 at the rate things are going. So just you wait. You think you can jam in your handicap? Mine can go fairly up very quickly as well. You're playing bad golf where like it's just not even moving because they're just not counting the scores because it's just they're not being good. So hopefully they'll start to sort itself out. But it has not been pretty golf. But people, thank you very much for jumping in. Yeah, it was quite sort of catch a lot to get through. We'll be back again next week. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can be up to date with everything that goes on here on the Long Grass podcast with myself and Ross. Hopefully we'll see Matt back as well. We'll get some guests on as well. Hopefully you can also be back in the studio. A bit of a virtual one today, but it'll be cool to get back in the studio. Ross, as always, keep well. And thank you, everyone.
Next week will be virtual as well, Steve. Though, because I'm going to be in Mauritius after Tiger wins the Masters.
No, next week we are all going. We're going to be coming to you live from Mauritius. We'll be sitting on a beach because because I'll tell you why. Because my bet on Aldrich's gonna win the Masters on Sunday, and Monday we're off. 2,501 to 1.
Styling.
So guys, if you guys see us on the beach next week, you know who won the Masters. But apart from that, keep well, keep safe, and we'll see you guys all very soon.